Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena here. You're watching our video review of the Motorola Moto E. Following up after the success of the Moto G, Motorola is trying to make its mark again in the affordable segment of the market. With the introduction of the Moto E, it seems likely they have a good chance with it, especially when it's priced at only $130 for an unlocked model. Cosmetically, there are a few differences with the design of the Moto E, but in general, it maintains its siblings' design language. Certainly not the most attractive design we've seen, but nevertheless, it has an inviting appeal to it, especially for its intended target. It's form-fitting, compact, lightweight, and okay construction. It's comprised out of plastic mostly. Our particular unit has a soft touch matte finish, so it has a nice clean look, but you can remove the back cover and replace it with any of the colorful shells that Motorola offers. The cosmetic differences between this and the Moto G before is that the Moto E features a front-firing speaker and that it lacks a front-facing camera. Besides that, everything else remains largely the same. You have the power button, the volume control on the right edge of the phone. The rays, they have somewhat decent tactile feels. You have 3.5mm headset jack and a noise cancellation microphone on the top. The left side of the unit is clean, and the bottom we just have the micro USB port. And finally, in the rear, we just have a 5-megapixel fixed focus camera, no flash and no autofocus. Luckily, the rear casing can be removed. That's where we have access to its micro SD card slot, which helps to supplement its 4GB of internal storage. The phone features a 4.3-inch QHD IPS display, so that's 540 by 960 pixels, which translates to a pixel density count of 256 pixels per inch. Yeah, we know it's not the most detailed screen, but for a $130 smartphone, it's not that bad. It's more than usable for surfing the web. From the front, the screen has a robust and rich color reproduction, but when you tilt it slightly, you can see distortion already, so it doesn't have particularly strong viewing angles. On top of that, its brightness output's not the strongest either, so it's challenging to view it outdoors. What's nice about the Moto E is that it's running a stock Android 4.4.2 KitKat experience, so it's pretty up to date with its build. So for first-time Android users, they'll like the straightforwardness and even the intuitiveness of the experience. So it doesn't have all the complications we tend to see with other customized Android experiences. One nifty new software feature that we haven't seen previously is this application in the Moto E called Motorola Alert. Basically allows us to keep in touch with emergency contacts. We could do several different things. For example, we could click on Meet Me. I'll send them the address of our location so they can meet us here. We could also use Follow Me. Follow Me is pretty neat just because it'll send periodical updates, text messages to our location to our contact. And the last one here is Emergency Mode, where it automatically will trigger an alarm and even notify our contact that we're in danger. In all fairness, we weren't expecting anything extravagant with its processor. It's powered by a dual-core 1.2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 200 CPU with the Adreno 302 GPU and 1 GB of RAM. So for basic things, there's a good amount of responsiveness, but for more processor-intensive stuff like 3D gaming or opening up a large PDF file, it definitely shows its load times and its sluggish nature. The handset's responsiveness extends to its on-screen keyboard, but with its cramped layout, it can be a little bit challenging. Sorry folks, there's no 4G LTE with this one, meaning that page loads are a little bit longer due to HSP Plus connectivity, but once it's loaded, it's okay to use. You can see navigation controls are pretty smooth, but with page rendering, sometimes it plays catch up. Just like any other Android smartphone, we have the Google Play Music application, so its functionality and presentation is nothing different. With the handset's front-firing speaker, we gotta say it produces some really strong volumes, but there's a hint of crackle at the loudest volume setting. Sure, the handset can load 1080p videos, but they pretty much freeze all the time, so you'll want to stick with 720p videos, which work pretty well with its smooth playback. The camera app is simple and straightforward. There aren't any manual controls, so when you swipe to the right, we're given shooting modes such as HDR, a panoramic one, and we could even have control with the exposure, but that's it. Unfortunately, its 5-megapixel camera takes some subpar looking photos. The biggest distraction is just the grainy visuals of the camera. It can't capture as much details, of course, at 5 megapixels, and in turn, the images look more like artwork more than anything else. And under lower lighting conditions, you just see even fainter details, grainier looks, and more noise. So it doesn't surprise us that its 720p video recording quality mirrors that of its still image quality. It's just disappointing. The biggest thing here is the lack of details, and you also see some heavy artifacting when panning, though the video recording is actually smooth for the most part, but it's just too distracting overall to accept. It's not totally unusable, but there are some challenges with the phone call quality of the Moto E. The earpiece itself delivers an ample amount of volume, but voices tend to have a little bit of a static tone to them. On the other end of the line, our callers mentioned that our voices have a choppy tone to them, but luckily the speakerphone works well. Its 1980 milliamp hour battery is able to produce a time of 8 hours and 8 minutes with our battery benchmark test, which is pretty excellent. In our real world usage, that translates to 2 days of normal usage, so even power users will be happy with that. It's probably attributed to its HSPA Plus connection and of course the lower resolution screen. Here in the US, a lot of people are still on the fence about buying phones outright. They're so ingrained in buying phones with a 2-year contract. So the Moto E might have some difficulty trying to overcome some of those free phones. Looking abroad though, the Moto E is sure to make its biggest impact, where people are more likely to buy their phones outright. At $130, it surely has a lot of value to it. It's not perfect, but the Moto E doesn't have to be, just because with that $130 price point, it offers a lot of value for the buck, and for most people, especially ones moving up from a feature phone, it surely is enough to warrant a purchase. So if you guys want to learn more about the Motorola Moto E, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.